Hello, welcome back to the Daily Grind here with Sethonan. Today we are going to play the number one challenge for getting Bizarro Shards. I have seen people asking if Bizarro fits in the current meta, if he is a good toon, and several other gameplay related questions. Well, I haven't used Bizarro at all on PvP. But just judging from what his kit brings to the table, he is not a viable meta toon. He has no can't miss moves, and he's more of a control toon. So you need him to play the long game, like 3, 4, or more rounds in a fight. He's a very capable tank, but he can still be one-shot by blues, especially Wonder Girl Cassie. And let's do a quick review of his kit, Bizarro Hog, his basic. This works funny because the more Bizarro is debuffed, except if it's strength downs affect his damage output. He gets extra damage if he has debuffs on him. So even if you slow him down, if you put agility down on him, if you put affinity down or something like that, intelligence down, his basic will become stronger the more buffs he gets on him. Because of his legendary upgrade, he will also heal himself when he attacks. And it's a fairly damaging move, but he is not a striker, so you can count on him for one-shotting reds. Now, his taunt, his second skill, Bizarro Say Hi, which in Bizarro language means that Bizarro says goodbye. He gains taunt, stamina ups, and a lot of stuff. But his legendary upgrade makes it so that if bleeds are cast on Bizarro, he gains damage immunity, so that completely negates any bleed damage he may take. Then we move on to his Flame Breath. This one applies 2 to 3 bleeds on normal, and if you upgrade, it adds an extra bleed per debuff on Bizarro, so that will turn to a 9 to 12 bleeds in a single move. This is his better upgrade if you are taking him beyond Legendary 1 or Legendary 2. Now, I already have him Legendary 2, and for my gameplay style, I went for full control. Bizarro works better now inside of bleed compositions because of his Flame Breath. But what I needed him for was his freeze vision. He has the opposite powers of Superman, so instead of freezing breath, he gets flame breath, and instead of laser vision, he gets freeze vision. And as a little trivia note, instead of telescoping vision, he gets micro-macro telescopic vision. So instead of zooming in to see details on faraway objects, he makes objects bigger so you can actually appreciate them more. And that also lets him look directly behind his head, so you cannot surprise Bizarro. Anyways, trivia off. Special damage and has a chance to stun. It's not 100%, it's 90%, where that's 50, 60, 80% to stun. So it's not guaranteed. But his upgrade is to give 3 speed downs. I use Bizarro whenever I use him in conjunction with Captain Cold or Mirror Master, because you want someone capable of putting speed downs. But Riddler is even better at distributing the speed downs to the enemies. So there's that. This is what Bizarro has for crowd control. a non-guaranteed stun, but it's a fairly high chance. This one is even better than his basic at killing reds, and it makes them slower. And his last skill is his passive, where if he gets a critical hit on him, he heals himself. And now his upgrade is that he gains death immunity. It only lasts 1 round at the beginning of the battle. If you don't actually have Bizarro, I will recommend to you to get him to Legendary 2 or 3 just so you could take these last 3, or you take his taunt and the flame breath and the passive to guarantee that he will survive round 1. His taunt is oddly specific in that it has to be bleed on him before he casts the taunt to gain damage immunity. It's a fairly fast taunt. You can do it over and over again at a fairly decent pace. But Bizarro is a last resort taunt. He's not a taunter that you're going to be using right away because he's not really that fast, even at max gear level. And he works better on Bleed's compositions from what I know. I haven't really played him in Bleed compositions. But now we are going to go find shards for him, as he has a heroic challenge going on. And I'm going to buy energy because I overslept. So I don't have energy left for this. Heroic challenges are for medium level players or somewhat veteran players that need specific characters or shards for getting to a specific legendary level or to unlock a character if you are a newbie. If you're a newbie, just focus on unlocking the character. Don't worry too much about getting them to legendary because of this one reason. These events are fairly hard for newer players. You only get like 5 or 6 nodes where you can actually get shards, and it's better for you if you play those 5 or 6 nodes every day instead of repeating nodes. Why? Because the drops are not guaranteed until the last 2 nodes of every event. Now, I like heroic challenges because they allow you to use all the tunes that you have no chance of using during PvP or the monthly challenge event. Now, what I was going to use... I'm gonna need at least 1 blue, so I'm going to be bringing... Well, this is my team for most heroic challenges, and I like it very much because it's a fairly fast team. And I'm going to switch Steppenwolf at the end because he is not full gear 10. All the other characters are full gear 10. This one allows you a lot of stuff, and you are going to see the first few nodes. They are going to go very fast. You can even play them on auto. This particular composition I like a lot because it has a lot of turn meter activation, and every time someone performs a critical strike, Harley Vexing starts getting more and more strength ups. And since everybody is getting buffs on their turn, then Aquamoa gets critical ups. and you're going to see the end result very, very quickly. So I'm just going to try today for Legendary 3 since it's only 110 shards, and I might push for Legendary 4 because I enjoy the character as is, because I like having Bizarro, not because I use him a lot. Whenever you have to ask yourself, should I farm this event? It really depends. Are you going to use the character at all? Because these events are very resource intensive. You are going to need a lot of gold, and the only bonus is that if you spend 8,000 gold on one of the heroic challenges, you will get a better return of investment compared to actually buying the shards, and nobody gets a turn ever again. You are going to get a better return of investment than buying the shards at the store. The 100 shards for 8,000 gold, it's a bad deal if you have a heroic challenge available. And that's the truth. But on the other hand, this is only true if you have a team that is actually capable of reaching the last 2 nodes of the event. Because of the spread on the drops, the last 2 nodes guarantee you get at least 1 shard. Before that, this doesn't happen. You might pull 0, and so you're better off waiting until the next day so you can get your first time drops again. See, every time somebody makes a critical, Harley gets more strength ups. And if Steppenwolf crits with his basic, I have his basic upgraded, he grants 75 turn meter to somebody at random, and it stacks. So if anybody who is almost taking a turn gets that 75, the excess meter gets carried away for the next turn. So everybody is accelerating all the time. You can change anybody. Another variation of this, I decided to come with High Gun Deadshot because he guarantees that everybody gets a critical on his first move. See? Aquamoa got the meter and he gets to go 2 times in a row. Whoa, tamales, tamales! Now I got hungry. I wonder what the tamales are of. Bizarro here to give you painless happy death. So he's going to mold you slow. Everything he says means the opposite of what he actually says. But he's not a problem right now. Usually this team goes Steppenwolf on the lead, Harley Vexing, Aquamoa, and Swamp Thing. Because Swamp Thing spreads critical ops around and he heals your team. So I might actually change for that on the last notes of this event. But meanwhile, I'm just having fun. And this is fairly easy to use. You just use basic over and over again because Aquamoa calls for an assistant whenever he performs a critical hit. Steppenwolf and Harley Vexing play well together because on any critical hit, Harley and Steppenwolf get meter. Every time someone gives a critical hit, Harley and Steppenwolf get meter. And Steppenwolf also gives meter to somebody else. Oh wow, a legendary Bizarro hit. See? this is going to be a problem, and I am gonna have to change my setup for someone who has porch, because I'm just going to keep going and going and going. Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm not going to change this until the very last two. So what's a good strategy for heroic challenges? Obviously, you have to have a really good sustain team. Somebody who heals off turn. Why? Because losing a turn healing your team could mean the difference between actually beating the event or not. Turn meter manipulation and purging, depending also on what toon you are going after. For example, Bizarro here will guarantee calling in heavy damaging blues, but no bleeding because of the skill he has. You also have to take into account what the toon is capable of doing when you go against them, because in these events all the mobs get extra HP, so it's not exactly like PvP. You can't okay, let's burn turns. Let's burn some turns here and there. We have to let Bizarro wear off that death immunity. But really, only Harley is in danger. So, yeah, 35 out of 180. If you think I'm doing this very fast or too fast, that's because my whole team outside of Steppenwolf is gear 9, I believe. They are all gear 10, so they do fairly high damage, and they are all strikers. The beauty of these events is you can take any toon you have developed. Of course, if they are toons with legendary level, that's even better. And you just keep using, with this composition, you just keep using your basic over and over again. After a couple of rounds, Aquamoa will critical every time, and so he calls an assist. And if you ever need someone to... Yeah, I'm gonna need something. These greens are getting out of control. If you need someone to do this, you can also call assists with Harley, and she calls 2 assists when you get both her upgrades. Yeah, critical and calls an assist. And assist. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch this around. I need someone to purge. And not for anything else, because I don't want to wait until until Bizarro makes his move. So I'm going to go with, well, the easy one will be taking Princess of Themyscira, but I'm going to go with this one. Yeah. You know, I could make my life easier than this. But I want to show guys off the beaten path. And we are already 20 minutes in. The much maligned Lex Luthor survival suit. Not a lot of people like him because he is very, very slow. But this is a very cool tool to use. The problem is keeping him above 50% health. And yeah, speed ups for everybody, just so Aquamoa gets even more critical ops. I need him able to critical on command. Now my Lexi is gear 9, so he doesn't get his stupid damage until he is gear 11. At gear 10 he also hits fairly high. Alright, Harley's doing her thing. But whenever you need a respite, you can control the field with a metahuman deterrent. Just don't abuse it because it has a fairly high cooldown. Elotes, tamales. It's bothersome, but you know what? It's cool living in Mexico. Food comes to you. You don't have to go out for food. They bring it to your doorstep. And it's all meter down. And as long as Lex is above 50% health, out. Buff immunity and call assist. Yeah, you know, living here, it's pretty fun. In pretty much every city, food will come to you. In fact, you have to tell the guys like, not right now, thank you. I just bought tacos from the other guy. And it's all junk food. Junk food, tamales, tacos, esquites, which is corn in a cup. It's like corn soup, something like that. But they also come around selling sweet bread. As of late, they even bring you tortillas. The water jugs, the water gallons are also sold house to house. And the very, very enterprising guys are starting to use WhatsApp to take orders. So you can call your water boy, like, hey, I need water for drinking. And I believe this is something weird for gringos, but we don't drink out of the tap. Tap water is for washing clothes and doing the dishes or something else. You can drink it. Yes, you can drink. It's potable. But I wouldn't advise it. It tastes funny. Like it's not graded for human consumption, because it's only disinfected. There's a fairly great distinction between you can use it to wash your dishes, you can use it to wash clothes, and water that you can actually drink with no problems. And I believe that's what happens to many Europeans and gringos that come to Mexico. Their first instinct is to go and drink water from the tap, and that's not a very good idea in this country. Like they disinfect it in the sense that it has no Escherichia coli bacteria, you know, the one that lies in poop, and other amoebas and other harmful bacteria. But run of the mill aerial bacteria, they don't get rid of that. You should have, or you will have to take it from the tap, boil it, and then filter that boiled water to get drinkable water. And that was a funny trivia. It's not that we are backwards, it's just well, I have been alive for over 40 years, and I can't remember a time where that was a thing. We used to have, you can still get those filters that you connect to the tap, but that was too more for certain communities, certain cities had a problem where the treated water still got out of the tap with earth residue. But that was a long time ago. And so you bought your filter to get rid of the excess dust, excess mud, and you could still not drink that. It tastes horrible. Tastes of chloride. But what we have always had available is stations where you go, you bring your jug of water, and you fill it for a fee, of course. That has always been a thing. And outside of the monetary thing, I don't want this to get too political. Sometimes people ask me if I will move out of my country. Like, why do you live there? And really, outside of politicians who can go fuck themselves, really, I wouldn't leave. One thing many people still haven't understood is that we have a lot of liberties that we take for granted that we wouldn't have in other countries. Like, see, my neighbor just got up. It's almost noon here, and the first thing he did, I can bet you he hasn't even brushed his teeth or had breakfast, and he's already put music, and I can listen to it. Like that joke that I don't usually listen to Black Sabbath, but when I do, my neighbors do too. Yeah, they do that. And we can call the police and whatever, everything. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, the police will come and they will very politely ask if they can please keep the volume down. They will for a couple of minutes, and then it will come back up again. And we can do that 5, 6, 7 times. So we now don't usually bother. And this is not privative of low income areas. If you think, oh well, get out of the ghetto, guess what? I don't live in a ghetto. I don't live in a popular community. This thing happens even in rich neighborhoods. That's one thing. We Mexicans don't give a damn about that kind of laws. It's forbidden to put music at a high volume. Well, I don't think so. I don't agree. And what happens in a well-off neighborhood, they usually have an area where you can start a party. They have like a communal, I don't know the word, like a city hall for events, but just for the neighborhood. That's the well-offs, and some good neighborhoods have something like that. But even in those, if people feel like it, they're going to close the street. Like just take a car, shove it sideways on the street, and well, I need to get to my house. Well, I'm so sorry because we are throwing a party. I'm not proud of that, but that's something that happens. And I cannot lie to you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat my country. We have some pretty aberrant behavior sometimes. And still, we are one of the happiest countries in the world. And I wouldn't live anywhere else. Also, I can go out even with all the violence in my country. I don't live in one of the worst parts, but there are still decapitating bodies appearing once or twice every weekend in the area where I live, in my state, in my city. So yes, it's real. It's a pretty grim stuff. But I can still go out at 3 a.m. to buy soda, cigarettes, or tacos. Yes, there are places in my city where doing that is tantamount to suicide because you will get robbed, but that happens in every city, in every part of the world. There are parts of the city that you can go out at night, but where I live, and in many places, in many states in my country, you can still go out at 3 a.m. to your local 7-Eleven. They are called Oxxos here. Going to your local 7-Eleven to buy cigarettes, booze, and you might actually find street hookers. The works. Why would I want to live somewhere else where I have to do all my shopping before 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning, in the night? And you better do that, and you better plan ahead. What if I feel like having a cup of coffee at 1 o'clock in the morning? But now I can't because I forgot to buy coffee. And especially where I live, it's a port. It's a sailing port. So there are plenty of bars and booze houses. So you can go out and have fun. Whatever time of the day you like. Doesn't matter. Somewhere there will be a party going on. I think I'm nearing the end of this event because these guys are getting real hard to kill. So yeah, take the meter off this guy. And as you can see, Bizarro doesn't hit real hard. Funny bit, if you use the taunt, the call assist with Harley Vexing and the assisting guys perform a critical hit, it won't trigger any passive on the opposite team. She also won't get the strength ups, but you won't trigger any passive that is on the field because it doesn't count like an action on her turn. And that's a very interesting tidbit right there. Oh wow. Wow, his bleeds are something. Yeah, definitely get the bleeds for... I'm gonna get the bleeds for Bizarro. Come on, Aquamoa. No, not Deadshot. Aquamoa. Like this. Some people don't like that move from Aquamoa, but it hits real hard. Yeah, this is the last node. You know what? I'm going to Chicken Little. I'm going to put Wonder Woman Princess here. Yeah. First time is 5 and the subsequent repeats are 2. The next to last node is just 1 to 11 shards. The last one is 2 to 12. The difference being here, if you do 10 pulls in a row, the absolute lowest you're going to get is 20 on the last node. And if you do 10 pulls in a row here, you're going to get 10. You can't offset the energy consumption that way. You simply are not going to. If you can't finish the last node, then that's one thing. Yeah, if you can finish the last node, then you use the next to last. But if you can get there, you are going to farm here, and I'm going to. Just to see. This was already 500 gold to get there, so you can get to the last node on a single energy recharge. And yeah, it's pretty much only greens, so maybe do it like this. Where's Lexi? Where is Lexi? Here's Lexi. And Swampy. If you notice, there's 3 call assists I have available. So we better make use of those. But now I have sustain. Everybody gets healed, and if anybody, for example this guy, tries to get out of hand, boom, meter down. Meter down and assist. And Aquamoa already has every critical up he's going to ever need. More speed ups. So let's get rid of these guys. What I'm actually missing is a good AoE. Sorry. That's not a problem really. Not a problem at all. Harley is going to one-shot anybody from now on, because now Akuma is always going to perform a critical, so that's 2 strand ups she's going to get. And as Swampy starts getting out of hand, firing his basic over and over, then even Lexi is going to crit up because of all the criticals Swamp Thing gives to the team. So I lost meter for the whole team, but Harley still goes very fast. Oh my god! This one I didn't see coming. We have a problem, people. So get rid of Lexi first. That's Warsuit Lex Luthor. And Cyborg Superman, who can't be critical. That is going to be a problem. So they have a ton of HP. Yeah, Lex Luthor is not a problem anymore. Well, this one is getting a bit complicated because now my Harley probably won't have crit ups saved for the last node. Come on, blues. You see, the thing is that Cyborg Superman is going to be a problem. So I have only one recourse left, and that is bleeding him to death. And hoping for the best, because everybody is going to do max damage but normal damage. No modifiers. Oh well. Well, this went up better than expected. I still took way too many turns. But there was no way of knowing. I can see some teams getting in trouble with that combination. Well, at least Bizarro won't be getting any buffs because Luthor keeps him in place. I want more speed ups. I need more speed. Yeah. The sad part is that Swamp Thing doesn't get criticals from his basic. More assists. Yeah, but this is like the worst composition to bring to a Bizarro fight. And he's done. 3-star. Everybody full overheal. And now I proceed. I only need 100 shards. No, I want to go back to the map. I only need 100 shards for my legendary 3. So let's see. Oh god, now the neighbors are singing. Well, if you don't want to spend your whole life farming for shards, you buy Speed Force with the package. and you start going. That's 1 run, 2 runs. Every 500 gold pack of energy lets you pull 6 times in a row. So I needed 100, now I just need 60. So let's buy another one. And the total expenditure for this adventure so far has been 1500 gold. If you are keeping track, I'm going to let this screen longer just so you can write down. But I still think Bizarro is more of a niche. Okay. So this is going to be 160 shards for 2000 gold or less. Yes, less than 2000. But let's call it that. 2000 gold for 120 shards. There you go. Legendary 3 already. And I need that energy to finish my 30 heroic missions. So now I'm going to bring Bizarro to Legendary 3. And here we go. Would I bring him 1 extra bleed for each debuff on Bizarro? Yes, I'm taking this one. Would I take him to Legendary 4? I mean to Legendary 5? It looks like a lot of fun, but it's going to be a ton of gold, and I need that gold to gear up High Gun Deadshot. So no, I won't take him Legendary 5, but I might take him Legendary 4. He's already death immune, 3 speed downs, extra bleed for each debuff on Bizarro. So even if I don't upgrade this anymore, that's still 7 to 8. And that can be 8 to 11. That's a real nice spread. But I don't think this works. It's too situational. Of course I could be wrong, and then the second I decide to use Bizarro, everybody else is going to be using bleed teams. But I don't think so. So yeah, probably my next upgrade is going to be 6% true heal for each debuff on Bizarro. And that's a max 6, so that's basically half health, because that's a 36 true heal. That's 36% of his health bar if he has 6 debuffs on him. So yeah, I'm taking this. If there is something that Bizarro needs, it's survivability. So if you didn't take the freeze vision for whatever reason, then I will leave his freeze vision last. Which one to take first? I'm a proponent that it doesn't matter at all. Because if you're going to take a character from rank 1 to legendary whatever, what you really have to look for is which skills are you more likely to actually use. And with Bizarro, that's going to be his absolute first skill that he needs to survive is be able to reach the second round. So he needs his death immunity at the beginning of the battle, if not for anything else than to force the enemy to waste a purge on him instead of on someone else. Still, Princess of Themyscira is going to make short work of Bizarro any day of the week. So there's that. And with that said, that would be all for this video. And I'm pretty happy with my Bizarro. I'm going to upgrade this. So he's not very fast, but he might work in certain compositions. This is not a PvP meta heavy toon, but he is fun to use. And if I redo his heroic challenge to bring him legendary 4, I might record it and use Bizarro for his same heroic challenge. Remember, these teams are not the only composition able to defeat the heroic challenges. Heroic challenges that last for 6 days, like this one for Bizarro, you can bring anybody you have available. Just keep in mind, for this particular event, Cyborg Superman and Lex Luthor Warsuit are going to be on the next to last wave on the last node. So if you come with a heavy blue team, that can be a problem. And if you don't bring somebody who can deal with Cyborg Superman, you will need some sort of stun or control. My composition, even though it doesn't look like it, is very control heavy on the turn meter, and there are a lot of extra attacks because of the assists and the out of turn attacks from Swamp Thing. So that's what made it look easier than it really was. Out of turn attacks and turn meter are some of the most powerful tools sans a one shot. If you can one shot somebody, that's strategy number 1. But if you don't have that, then turn meter control and calling assists to enable slower tunes is a way more powerful option, because if they take your one-shot capability out, like Aquaman, King of Atlantis, that can completely negate any one-shot for 2 turns, up to 2 turns at the start of the battle, then you might lose. And if I'm really mad that they changed Raven, her leader, from critical damage reduction to just critical chance reduction, because she had a very powerful synergy with Supergirl, where it completely negated high critical teams. Completely. They reduced shots that usually hit for over 100,000 HP to just 1 or 2k. So it allowed a lot of breathing room. If the developers are seeing these videos, I will suggest to you, please bring back Raven as she was, because really, a Raven and Supergirl team only leave you 2 slots open. And it's not like a Raven Supergirl composition by itself is powerful enough. I mean, neither of those is going to be one-shotting everybody to death, if at all. Well, this was again a very long video, very long-winded video, with a lot of fluff, but it was the whole heroic challenge event for you to decide if you have the tunes that it will take to reach the final node. And with that, I say to you, we'll see each other next time. Keep grinding on. Leave a like, subscribe, leave comments, everything I read and answer to as soon as I'm able to. See you next time.